Yeah, so what do you think of this? So Venezuela holds some of the largest proven oil resources in the world, yet much of that potential remains unrealized. Given the current political and economic situation unfolding there, what are your thoughts about the possible outcome of President Trump's actions against the Maduro regime and potential for oil exploration?
Mr. Trump needs to remember whose oil that is. It's not ours. If you look up defense in the dictionary, it has nothing to do with the forward posting of forces stealing other people's assets. I'm no fan of the Maduro government, but I fear the Maduro government less than I fear my own. The most dangerous government is always the government closest to you, not the one far away.
Yeah.
The Maduro government uh, does not respect the will of its people, which is why so many people have left. And in a Maduro administration, the probability of beneficiating Venezuela's natural resources, be they oil, be they gold, be they iron, are low.
Okay.
Uh, there are at least two opportunities in Venezuela. One opportunity is the low hanging fruit in the Maracaibo light sweet fields, which have been largely unbeneficiated by the Venezuelans for 15 years. There's lots of conventional exploration opportunities there. Uh, Modern exploration technology, three-dimensional seismic, horizontal drilling, measurement while drilling, none of these technologies have been brought to bear in the Maracaibo Basin. The greater opportunity is in the Orinoco heavy oil belt, which, as you stated, is the largest undeveloped agglomeration of reserves and resources of hydrocarbons in the world, larger than Saudi Arabia. This is trickier stuff. This oil is very heavy. It's difficult to pump, to extract, and it's high sulfur, which means it's very corrosive on equipment. The technology employed in the Canadian oil sands in Canada is the type of technology and the type of capital that will be required to unlock this. Particularly, the best way to unlock that oil would be the establishment of a nuclear power industry in Venezuela, where the waste heat from the nuclear power plants could be employed in addition to cheap electricity to thermally extract that heavy oil. This same technology would work in Canada were it politically popular. There's no other application of nuclear power in the world that would work as well as the application of thermal processing on heavy oil, because what is in every other part of the world, the waste heat from the nuclear power plant, could be used to thermally heat and make more transportable those crudes. This would necessitate uh, somewhere between 25 and $50 billion in investments in nuclear power plants before you invested in the thermal cycling of this oil. Clearly, an investment that the Venezuelans aren't capable of making. But something that you should keep in mind as you grow and age. This is the largest source of known accessible hydrocarbons on the planet. What stands between it and beneficiation is politics and capital. The technology is available.
Yeah, I agree that technology is definitely available. So do you think Venezuela will ever open up either from what do you think getting to this first, do you think this is all a bluff right now? All these ships in the Caribbean right now, do you think there's got to be actual war with Venezuela, or do you think that's probably not going to happen?
I hope not. If we want access to Venezuelan oil, as we proved in the Middle East, it's cheaper to buy it than to steal it. Uh, that's practical. From a moral point of view, stealing is not a good thing. We seem to justify it when we steal other people's stuff. When they nationalize or steal our stuff, we think it's theft. But when we steal their stuff, we think it's manifest destiny. The fact that the U.S. government has troops deployed in over 100 countries, pardon me, tells me that our political class has never read the dictionary definition of defense. Defense occurs within one's borders.
Yeah, so do you think there's any possibility they might get rid of the sanctions on Venezuela to open up the oil market there?
I think it depends on popularity polls. I don't think Trump cares particularly about Venezuela. I think he's, like every other politician, playing to his base. Domestic politics are more important to Trump than Venezuelan oil.
So
If he
hypothetically,
asked the oil industry, by the way, the oil industry would say work with. I remember the CEO of Exxon talking about the Middle East conflict, saying, "quote If this is about oil, it's cheaper to buy it than to steal it."
yeah, so hypothetically speaking, if Venezuela was opened up again and the United States made investments there, would it be cheaper for the United States to get oil from Venezuela than Saudi Arabia?
No, the Saudis will always have lower lifting costs.
Mm.
The upfront capital costs to develop the Venezuelan oil and the very high operating costs because of the energy intensive nature of extraction, and also because of the highly corrosive nature of that high sulfur crude, means that Saudi Arabia will always be a cheaper source of oil. It is estimated by the International Energy Agency that global consumption of energy in the period 2025 to 2020 to 2050 doubles.
Wow.
That means we're going to need all kinds of energy. Are we going to need wind? Yep. Solar? Yep. Geothermal? Yep. Hydro? Yep. Nuclear? Yep. Coal? Yep. Oil? Yep. Gas? Yep. Venezuelan oil, preferably. This is not a zero sum game. There are 1 billion people on Earth, Alex, that have no access to primary electricity whatsoever. We've done a great job over the last 30 years making the poorest of the poor less poor. And when poor people get more money, the items that they like to consume are commodity intensive. When you get more money, you buy a service or you buy something like art, which is displayed behind you. When a poor person gets more money, the calorie consumption in their family goes up, their energy consumption goes up. They replace a thatch roof with a steel roof. And the uplifting of the poorest of the poor over the next 20 years will be a primary driver in the increase in global energy consumption